Hey folks, welcome to the Going Analog podcast, the show in which board game industry guests bring their own topics and games to discuss. I'm your host, Christina, and we have a huge fascination and love for games from Asia. I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, we are also Asian, so I don't know. That's
only
probably
if you're watching on YouTube.
Then you can't tell. Right?
Only if you watch us on YouTube. Any other time.
You can't tell when you listen
Yeah,
to
if you
us,
listen to
right?
us, plug in whatever race you want.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm purple. So, from quirky small box Japanese games to some great new design perspectives from Korea and Taiwan, games from Asia are like a whole realm that could be less familiar to many stateside gamers. So we were thrilled to invite Jay Bernardo, founder of Cardboard East channel that focuses on board games from Asia. So you can find Cardboard East videos on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. You can look for Cardboard East and he's probably there. So Jay's also the marketing manager for the publisher Bezier Games, which is a lot of our favorite games too. So he knows games on all levels of all types. And so we're excited to have you on Going Analog.
That's a lot
Welcome,
to live up
Jay.
to. Thank you, Christina.
Yeah,
it's great to
you
be
have
here.
to know all the games, right? So
I do actually. They'll drop some random game knowledge in the office, and if I don't know it and like show my street cred, Ted just looks at me and is like, I don't know, Jay. I don't know.
maybe we have to have him on a quiz show one day too. Put him in his place. I mean, you can show off your knowledge that way. So we're excited to have you here. What topic are you bringing for us today?
Well, I always look at the questions that I'm commonly asked on my channel, be it like on my Discord or the Patreon or just the comments of any of the social media like YouTube. I mean, number one is always like, how do I get these games? And I made a whole video of it because I got tired of answering that question. But the question I often get is, what's the difference between board games from Asia and like the West or the Europe and the US?
So I'm excited to talk about that for sure, because I have questions. Like we maybe know a little bit more than the typical gamer, but still like not our area of expertise. So
Yeah, and time permitting, we're going to hopefully, Jay, get to dig in even further and just like besides East versus West, what are individual differences in terms of like overall vibes from different countries within Asia as well. So hopefully we'll have time to get to that.
Oh, yeah.
And so surprise, Shu's here. Hi, Shu.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for introducing me. Hi, I'm Shu. I'm the third Asian in this group.
Yes. Super Asian all the time. I mean, not all the time, but today, yes. And so what's our topic as Going Analog today, Shu?
So recently we've been playing a lot of games that are small group, but larger group size games, that meaning roughly 6 players or so. So a lot of our like, quote unquote normal board games, like you're usually capping around 4, maybe 5 players. But recently we played a few games that are like, oh, this goes up to 6. It's like 2 to 6 players, 3 to 6 players, or 3 to 7 players, stuff like that. So just wanted to share some of them, and Jay has some as well. So we'll talk about a few that we played recently.
We like to start off our show with some game highlights, though. So what game are we highlighting today, Shu?
So our game pick for this week is Finca. It's from Pandasaurus Games. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm holding the box right now. This is actually a remake, a redo of an older game that came out years ago and has been long out of print. So Pandasaurus brought it back, gave it a makeover so it looks a little bit more fresh and modern or more colorful, and not something that came out in the 90s. And
it was still pretty back then, but it is very
games are still pretty in the 90s.
Yes.
Things from the 1900s still matter.
Yeah,
True.
what an ageist.
Oh, they matter, but you can't buy this game anyway, so I could talk all the trash I want about the old Finca. But yeah, our friend Nam showed us the old Finca.
Finca, like when we first met him, this was back in 2019, I want to say. I really enjoyed it, and I was like, I want a copy, but it was already out of print. And so I sat on that for years.
So it was great. Like Pandasaurus sent us a copy, and we're like, "Oh, this is great," because we'd like to check it out. We never owned Finca, but the basic idea is it's a really simple Euro game where if you look at this island, there's several regions with different goods that the different communities are asking for. It's like one community might say, "We want 3 fish." Another one might say, "We want one of everything. There's 6 different types of resources and such. And so your job is to collect these resources to deliver to these communities. And then how you get these resources is kind of a
Pretty
cool rondel-like sort of system. So you have 4 farmers on this wheel. Every player has 4 farmers on a wheel. And then whichever blade of the windmill you kind of take your character from, however many farmers between you and your opponents are there.
Mancala also.
Yeah, Mancala a little bit.
Yeah.
Is how many steps you take on this windmill. And then wherever you land, however many people are there at the landing spot is how many of that resource is assigned to that space. So if you're leaving a space, you move 3 spaces and you land on a space with 4 figs, then you will get 4, or 4 farmers, so you'll get 4 figs. Sure. So you're like either collecting resources or you're delivering resources, but you want to time it right because you know you can see what your opponents are doing.
She kept looking over on my side. I'm like, keep your eyes to yourself.
I kept scanning over her goods, and then she was just like, hey, eyes over there.
I love Mancala games, yeah. Like, there definitely needs to be more Mancala games in the world.
Yeah. So it's a really cool, it's really light to play. Like you can explain, it probably teaches this game in under 5 minutes. And I feel like it's very, very approachable. So like, even if you're relatively new to the hobby, you could easily understand how to play this game.
It's a good, very, very easy. Little beginner sort of, like resource grabbing Mancala.
But as all good games go, there's a layer of strategy there because there's a lot of times, there's an end to the game, right? There's these special requests besides those deliveries. If you finish a stack of deliveries for one region, then there's a bonus tile that says whoever's delivered the most, for example, lemons throughout the game up to this point will get an additional 5 points. So you're also timing it. It's like, do I want to reveal that special scoring tile now? But that might give Christina 5 points. So, or do I kind of leave that there, go after another objective, or do I get those lemons, deliver those lemons so that I could score those points? So there's a timing element of like, can you get it down just right? And that's fun. So there's definitely a layer strategy. And there's also a couple of mini expansions you get add to it. Like the one we like is it gives everybody 4 one-time use powers. And if you choose not to use them, you just get points.
That's how I won. Did not spend all of my powers.
She saved powers. Yeah. So that's Finca.
You played the original, correct?
We played the original one. Yeah.
Long time ago.
6 years ago.
Did they change a lot other than the aesthetic? Because one thing I remember from the old Finca was that that windmill was just ugly.
It is much prettier. Yeah. It's so hard to remember because it was so long ago, but I remember I liked it. I think I liked the timing and pick up deliveries situation. But this one, it feels lighter than I remember, but I don't remember the old game. So besides
that might just be also you. Like, you have changed a lot in the last
that's right. That's right.
She's gotten smarter,
my
wiser.
brain size has doubled, so it's amazing.
Well, I think like the first time I played Glory to Rome, it was way too much for me. Like 10 years ago, I was like, "Oh, this is a lot going on here." And then now when I play it, it's very, very smooth and simple. I'm like, there's not much going on here. So I think it's just with that added experience, games feel lighter after a while.
It's true.
You're like, Jay's like, Glory to Rome's a baby game now.
I mean, it's a crazy game. It's a great game. We could talk about that later too. But big Carl Chudik fan here, so yeah.
Oh yeah.
What about the game that you brought for us, Jay? That you wanted to talk about?
Well, you asked like games that play 6, and so I wasn't really sure.
That would be for the next topic. That would be a separate topic. This is just
games I've been playing lately.
Oh yeah, you mentioned I think Dune,
well, that's my favorite game. That's my favorite game. So
let's talk about that.
That could be your game pick.
Yeah. That plays 6. But I don't play it all the time because it takes anywhere from like an hour to like 6 hours. You never never know.
1 to 6 hours.
Well, I think if you play with a new player, they'll make mistakes.
So this is the old game from when was this one?
79.
79, the 1979 Dune, not the hot new uprising, the upstart these days, right? So
no, there's Dune Imperium, Dune Imperium Uprising, and there's that whole world, and then there was the Dune that came out in 2019 by Gale Force 9, which is a reimplementation of the 1979 version from Emblem.
Okay.
What I really love about it is that if you've never played it, you can play this today, you can play this 10 years from now, and it'll still feel fresh. It'll feel new. Like it's pretty fiddly. But I mean, there are tons and tons of rules, but it will feel different than any other like dudes on a map area control game that you've played before.
Okay.
And it's a really testament to that kind of design back in the day that Evelyn Hill had. I mean, these are the same designers that did Cosmic Encounter, which is a classic science fiction negotiation game. So their next game was to do Dune, and they kept it with 6 factions as opposed to like 50, which is what Cosmic Encounter had. And so it kind of follows the books, fighting different factions, fighting over the planet of Arrakis, where you're fighting for spice. What's really interesting about it is that even though it's a competitive game where it's like me versus the 5 other players, and you can play with 3 or 6, but most people will agree that it's best at 6. What's really interesting is that every round a sandworm could appear. And when a sandworm appears, one, it's funny. 2, you could break off into groups and into teams. So it could become this, 1 versus 5 game where everyone's against each other. It could all of a sudden be a 3v3 or 2v2v2 game. Okay. And that's what makes it really interesting. And actually, if like by yourself, if you control 3 out of the 5 castles, then you win the game. But if you have a team of 2, then you need 4 out of 5, and you have a team of 3, then you need all 5. So it gets easier when you have more players, but at the same time, your goal objective becomes bigger and a little bit more difficult. But that trade-off is really fascinating, especially how the player factions all blend into each other. So like there's an auction of cards that people have to auction over, which you'll need because they're really powerful cards. One player knows what all the cards are, and they can keep track and they can keep notes as to who has what card.
Okay.
One player who's the emperor, like anytime someone bids on a card, they give the money to the emperor. So the emperor just has a ton of money in the game. There's the Spacing Guild, and every time someone moves their troops to the planet of Arrakis, they have to pay the Spacing Guild. So they become incredibly wealthy throughout the course of the game.
So super asymmetrical and super true to the books. Yeah, it sounds like.
Yeah, if you played Roots, it's very similar to that, where each faction is almost playing a different game to one point. It's the one thing that's very different about Dune than modern games is that it can be quite brutal. Like it's really, really mean. Like there are fights, and there will be fights every round, but the loser just loses everything. They lose all their troops in the battle. They lose their leader in the battle. They lose a lot, and it hurts. Whereas the winner also loses like a good portion of their army as well. So it becomes like this battle of like pennies, and you just become poor and starved at the end. And it's a really, really fascinating game that way. I think most people, when they play these 4X games or the Dudes on the Maps games, they're used to this constant back and forth. Like I push this round, then I pull back, and you push, and I pull back, and it's just constant back and forth. Whereas Dune is really not about that at all. It's more about trying to build up your forces, waiting for that perfect window of victory, and then just going all in and thinking like, I got it.
Interesting.
Okay. And how is it? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think the best part is that it's one of those games that tells stories. Like there are moments of the Dune games that I played in the past where I still remember today. Like there are these great aha moments. Traders is a big thing in the book, and you could have everyone has like 5 leaders or so. So Christina, maybe one of your 5 leaders is a trader, and you don't know that, but I do. So if we ever fight and you use that leader in the battle, I could pull that card, and then you would instantly lose. Like instantly. And it's one of these great, whoa, what moments that's really, really swinging but fun in this way. And then everyone has traders. And one faction is like the Harkonnens are better at traders. They'll have 4 traders as opposed to 1. So it's always terrifying to fight against them. And then there's Yeah, and then there's one group which people may remember from the books or from the recent TV show, the Bene Gesserit, who are space
Cool to
witches.
play. Yeah.
Yeah, and you at the beginning of the game, you make a prediction as to which player is going to win in which round. And if you can get that player to win the game in that round, you automatically win the game and no one else.
Oh my god, that's pretty.
And
cool.
it's
hard.
I have seen that happen a few times. I've seen it where I had the Bene Gesserit as my teammate, and we won the game. And then the Bene Gesserit was like, actually, I just kind of helped you because I won, and they stole the victory from me.
Nice.
It hurts a lot. One time, someone else, I was teaming with someone, and they're like, "You sure you can defend this fortress?" It's like, yeah, I got this. And then I lost, and I did air quotes there for these non-YouTuber watchers. And I lost, and the other team won. My teammate was like, "What did you do? You said you had this." Like, I don't know what happened. And then the other team was cheering. It's like, actually, I got you to win on this round, so I won, and it's just great.
Right. Reminiscing.
And then how did the remake? Do you like the remake? Did you get a chance to play that one?
Well, like the remake by the Gale Force 9 2019.
Yeah, the Gale Force 9 one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. Since I think Dune went out of print for a long time, and it's part of this era of Board Game Geek, which is like this giant Wikipedia page of board games. If you don't know what BGG or Board Game Geek is, there was a period there, like in the aughts, where, and even in the 2010s, where BGG had this great community of, this game is out of print. Well, I'm going to spend all my time designing new art for all these assets, and then you could download it and make it yourself. And that really doesn't fly too much today, but back in the day, people would do that all the time. And there were like different versions of it. Like there was one popular skin of Dune that had like a nice art deco, like 1920s kind of look. And there was one that had this, by this Russian graphic designer who did this gorgeous artwork. And that's what Gale Force 9 used. It's like, well, we're not going to make anything better than what this guy did. So we'll just use that art. And in fact, that's the same art that I used for my version, because it's like, I can't make any version better than this. So I never bought the Gale Force 9. Well, that's not true. I did buy it for friends.
Okay.
Because I had my own copy.
Yeah.
Well, I bought it for friends. And this is you can remember this, Shu and Christina, that like, it's a big game. So it was always hard for me because I always had to teach people how to play. So I bought copies of the game and gave them to friends. And then they would create their own circles of people to play with. And then there were like multiple people who knew Dune, and then we'd all meet up. I didn't have to teach the game anymore. It happened a lot more frequently. It was great.
You were the Ben Gesserit of that whole arc. Nice work.
Thank you. That's the secret.
So let's dive into Jay's topic. If you could remind us what that was, we'd love to talk about this.
The difference between East and West, like what are games from Asia compared to games from the West? West, I assume being the US and Europe.
Yeah.
Lack of a better definition. What do y'all think, in my best Texas voice, what do y'all think is the difference?
I mean, I think for me, even between Europe and America, there were like, here's Ameritrash games versus Euro strategy games. I feel like I guess my general impression is that they feel bigger, like physically bigger, obviously. And then I find that generally games from Asia, the themes are a lot more interesting to me. They're like quirkier and more like different. They're not the same beige, trading in the Mediterranean all the time, that sort of stuff. So
yeah, I feel like the themes in a lot of European games are grander in scale, and they a lot of times are historically based. And the Asian games that I've seen, I think it's mainly from Japan, are probably the games we play the most. And we're not anywhere near like as extensive kind of experience as you, Jay, with these games. But I feel like a lot of their themes, again, quirky, I think is a good word, but also a lot of everyday normal activities of just like
a little bit more focused.
where
maybe.
you're just walking in the park, or you're just riding a bus, or you're
getting
just
in front of an elevator,
riding up an elevator, or taking pictures of people and things like that. Like very simple everyday objects that they could turn into a fun kind of theme. And it's very minimalist too. It's just like I rarely see games that do a lot of complex art with a lot of busy graphic design. It's just like they keep things very simple and clean. It's a very broad strokes sort of description.
Yeah, you got it. You're perfect. You don't need me. I'm just gonna go now.
Okay, we got this.
Okay.
We're the new cardboard
those are all really perfect observations. To add context to that, though, like I think there are reasons behind that. Like one of the reasons why games from America tend to be huge and bigger are the fact that Americans tend to have bigger tables.
Yeah.
Tend to have also bigger houses or suburban houses where they can have big tables. And then your average gamer, and then Japan or Taiwan or even Korea, their homes are typically smaller, so their tables are typically smaller. They don't have as much space. The idea of getting, I don't know, like a Rascal or table like into their home is a little ridiculous because logistically it may not be worth it, for them. And then in terms of a publisher, I think I said this a lot. Like one of my publishers, it's a good friend of mine. In Taiwan, he said, Jay, I took 2 years and I sold 2,000 copies of this game in Taiwan. 2 years, 2,000 copies. I'm very proud of those 2,000 sales. I went to France, and in a weekend, I sold 12,000.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
So that's where the main focus of my business model is just licensing. And he's not alone. Like a lot of Taiwanese publishers feel that way, like Korean publishers. That they'll design their games to, one, be small, because if they're going to travel to Asia, and there are a lot of board game conventions all over Asia, and they all go to each other's conventions all the time. If you're not familiar with like Asia, like flying to a different country in Asia is like flying to a different state in the US. Like it's not that long of a plane ride, and it's pretty quick. So they go to their conventions a lot, and they'll ship their games a lot. And what that means is that you can't have big games. You need to have small games, because then you'll have more units per pallet. And if you have a big box, and people always mention Splendor. Splendor's a very classic game that's a big, box game, but there are very few components, and it's a lot of air. And if you're a small publisher, you don't want to pay for shipping air. So you're going to keep your components costs low and keep that box small because it's just cheaper for you. The second thing is that if your goal is to license games overseas to another publisher, like my friend in Taiwan, how you package the game is going to be different. Like you're going to have, it's going to be a language independent game. So that way there's no language on the cards. So like Marvel United, which is a card game that has all these cool card effects, like Magic the Gathering, just like so much text on all these cards. You might not do that for your board game. The reason why is that because publishers, just like everyone else, we're all lazy. So it's like if I license your game shoes, like your game's really cool, but I have to translate every card. I have to translate the rule book. I have to translate the art on the front and back cover of the box. Maybe the art doesn't match my market, so I have to hire an artist to rechange all that artwork. Whereas Christina's game, I don't have to translate any of the cards. The art in the box is great. I just change the language, print out a new rule book, and I'm good to go. So there's less effort for me to publish Christina's game than Shu's game. Sorry, Shu. But that's how a lot of publishers in Asia think. And that's how they approach their design. And when they're designing games, they naturally do that. So when they're coming up with these ideas, they're trying to, look, I could roll 50 dice to determine this battle. Sure. But, Christina's like, maybe there's a clever card mechanic that I could do. So I don't need 50 dice. I just need like a deck of cards, which will be a lot easier. And I think that's something that I think is that the U.S. publishers don't view. They're more about I would say in general, because there are always outliers. big US publishers are typically about the spectacle, like how big and impressive and how cool it looks.
The
like
minis and the shelf space and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
minis, the shelf space. Is there a campaign? Is it just like to increase replay value? There's these big spectacle looks of it. And I think especially now in 2020s, we're like, I think every publisher will have a great game. But like Shu, you might be the publisher and you're like, this is a great game, but it's not Instagrammable. There's no singular component that's really, really cool. Like Finca has the windmill, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really cool. Like behind your head earlier, I saw StarCraft, like that game, right? It's a little bit older, but the stacking of tokens, right, is something that's very unique, right? The units, the plastic minis in that game are also unique. That's what's photographable. And that's, I think, what the American market definitely wants. Whereas the Asian market has that less so. And I think it's because of the gamers that are there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's also, I've always heard, this goes hand in hand with what you said about the table space. It's also shelf space, right? Of like just storage in your home. Their home overall square footage is a lot smaller, so they don't have a lot of room for a lot of big box games like we might have.
And we probably first got into this whole looking at games from Asia because of Oink games too, because they're like so tiny and so adorable and like so eye catching, right? So that was probably our foray into that, and they're like, oh wait, there's more.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people are like that. Like for me as well, like Oink was like a great stepping stone into a much larger world. Like seeing everything that's there. And then I think there's a different layer that I'm exploring now, like because I think that there's this new, I guess when I'm as a marketing manager, I'm always thinking about trends and thinking about the market. So one of the things that I'm thinking more now is that I think the idea of being a completionist is less of a thing today, as opposed to when we were younger. And I know I could see Shu's face going, I don't know, Jay. I think
he still
Pokemon taught me that I have to have it all. I have to catch them all. It's in the song. It told me to catch them all. But here's the thing is that, when we were younger, like maybe a few cool bands came out every year. You're like, oh, okay, I could buy these few albums and I could be done. But now when you think of today, you have like Spotify, you have like an endless amount of music almost. Like almost every people that you don't know listen to music that you've never heard of. Like, there's this great interview with the head of YouTube Trends that I saw, where he said like every person watches some content that none of their friends would watch.
Sure. Okay.
And
Makes
so
sense.
there's this idea of like this individual expression of like, there's content that feels like this cute, quirky niche that's just kind of for me. And I really enjoy this. And it's, I don't need to have everything, but this cute little thing really, really speaks to me. And I think that because smaller publishers are smaller, they could take bigger risks. They could have really, really quirky, unique themes, like standing in front of an elevator, or just riding a bus around Kyoto. Could be a thing. And those are real games. And I think that's even in America, like there's a growing indie scene of board game publishers and designers that are like, there's a recent game that's a solo game that's about the 12 tasks of Hercules. And there are these little short tales that are kind of popping up all over the place, and people really, really like them and begin to explore them. And I think that there's this idea, like with Spotify, this younger generation, that I don't need to have everything, just have a few things that are just for me. I don't have to have every TV show. There's just a few TV shows, a few YouTube channels that I watch that's just for me. And I feel that that's kind of spreading to board games as well. Like there's a few designers, they're small publishing houses that I just like, and they're small, quirky, and they're cute, and it's kind of just for me. I don't need everything, but like these small, quirky, small publisher things becomes the cool thing, because how indie music was kind of small, but now indie everything is huge. Like indie movies, there's tons of them. Every indie TV shows, like might as well just be YouTube. There's just an endless amount of content. It's TikTok. There's just so many TikTok channels out there. Like you can't watch it all. and you don't want to
He
watch.
tries.
Oh.
Shu tries this. So too much TikTok.
I try as well, but there's this idea that it's not worth it. Even like a lot of Nintendo video games today, where even like the latest Mario games, like where there's so many unlocks and side quests. I don't have time. I can't do 100% of Breath of the Wild. Like, no, I don't have.
And I feel like that might be a trend. It might also just be people getting older and not having time for that, which is fine, So I think that's part of it.
Yeah. Why do you think, going back to the Asian games, why do you think, do you also find it true, like what our observation that a lot of them are more quirky or everyday kind of mundane themes? And I don't mean mundane in a bad way. It's just like mundane activities that you do that become the themes of a game. And then they explore less like the epic space or fantasy battles that a lot of American games do. Like, why do you think that is, just culturally?
Oh, well, the space one, I can tell you why. Like, I've talked to many Taiwanese publishers about why they don't do science fiction games. And they all tell me the same things, like science fiction doesn't sell here in Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
Science fiction isn't, you will find Star Trek and Star Wars fans everywhere. They're just everywhere. But science fiction in general is kind of mostly just the US, because US won the space race. And it kind of celebrated that. And it's this whole idea of like, we're so cool, we conquered space, and here's some TV shows about space because that's where we're going to go next. But like a lot of the rest of the world, like aren't as goo goo gaga for space as Americans are. I mean, I say that as an American who's in love with space themes. I saw you have Eclipse back there. Eclipse is upward on my shelf as well.
Yes.
But
we have a lot of space games. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just that, especially with Japan, like Japan's culture about how there's beauty in kind of everything. Like even the simplest task, there's a beauty to it by doing it over again and again and again.
So there's that trend where sometimes Japanese people will dress up as like everyday, like weird, like not even weird, but just like an everyday person who's like, oh, somebody who's been walking around with toilet paper on their shoe or something like that, right? And they'll cosplay as like these very everyday quirky things, and it just seems to be like a part of the culture too. So, but I think there are some games that are more fantasy or bigger themed, because some of our more recent games that did make it over, like you really love Veil of Eternity, and that's a Korean design, and that's not like a little like mini everyday sort of theme,
more fantasy based.
Very fantasy based, like collecting some interesting fantasy monsters and stuff. And my favorite, which I hear is finally getting a stateside release, I love Rumble Nation so much, and I made so many people play it. But that's typical, not typical at all, but like technically area control, dudes on a map sort of thing. So yeah,
it's funny because like Rumble Nation is that Sengoku, like medieval Japan period, and so it's a highly romanticized period. And it was a very gory period. There's lots of death, right? It's like 150 years of civil war where like everyone in your family has known nothing but bloodshed. But it's a very romanticized period of time, and there are always games coming out about that period. Any romanticized war period of any culture. Like America has a lot of World War II Civil War games.
Yes.
Like Europe might have a lot of like World War II, World War I games as well. Or like the 7 Years' War, or the French and Indian War is what we called it in the US. Like very big romanticized wars, or certain military campaigns within these bigger epic wars. Like even in China, it's about the Romance of the Three Kingdoms is heavily romanticized. And there's a joke with at least the group of Taiwanese designers that I hung out with about like, hey, when are you going to do your Romance of the Three Kingdoms games? Like, no, not yet. I'm waiting for it. I'm still working on it. That everyone eventually has to design one sometime, I guess, was their joke.
That's funny.
Okay. Well, can you do a quick speed run? Because you mentioned this in email before the show, like about the different individual countries and maybe some of the more the personalities that define their games.
So Japan is there are some really big publishers in Japan. But I know single market is a monolith for sure. There's always outliers. But for Japan, Tokyo Game Market, which is their big convention, happens twice a year. It is the largest board game convention of independent publishers in the world. And I think that is a great idea a great way to picture that market, because there are, I don't know, thousands, hundreds of little publishers. And I mean little, it's like one dude and like one artist, or just one dude by himself, or like a married couple, and that's it.
I remember
just
seeing
like two
that.
people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that's all they do. And the game market is wild. Like if we go to Gen Con and like Bezier Games, like we sell a lot of games like on day one, which would be amazing. But like we're not going to leave. We'll just stay there and demo games, and just say hi to people. But in game market, if someone sells out of games, they leave. They just leave, and then someone else comes in and takes their spot. Like it's absolutely wild. And then these are publishers who do small print runs, like maybe 500, 200 units per print run. And your average American publisher will do like 5, 10, 15,000 units per print run. Because that's just how they roll. Unless they're Hasbro, then they might do even larger print runs because
they have their Hasbro. Sure.
But so these are publishers that do small print runs. So these are not going to be big, heavy games. They're going to be small, cute, quirky. And when you're producing that much content, you're always going to find some unique theme and then just kind of explore it really quickly.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite single-player games, which we'll talk about later, is this one called Natsu Memo, which is just a game about junior high school kids in summer planning their summer vacation. And it's a month-long vacation. And and they have to do homework at certain times. And sometimes they're going to one party or another. And you're trying to schedule your last month of vacation, which is a really hilarious theme when you think about it. But it's also really simple and cute. Like you said, like a mundane topic. Korea has small publishers as well. Like there's one publisher and he specializes in 2-player tick-ticking games. I think he's designed 7 or 8. But they also have like these big, huge games, like publishers like Korea Board Games. And Korea Board Games, from my knowledge, outside of Hasbro, is like the only publisher that has their own building. Like it's a campus, not just a building, but a campus. It's huge. And every year they rent out a local village and theme it and have a huge party.
That's pretty cool.
For like a game release or just general?
Yeah. Just every year. Just imagine that. Imagine if like, I don't know, like Leader Games was like, hey, we're going to take over Houston. I mean, obviously it's another town. We're going to take over like Santa Barbara and just like theme it, as roots. And then we'll have a root day for Santa Barbara.
That's
like,
crazy.
That's what Korea Board Games does. And they're just huge. And they license everything under the sun and bring it to Korea. So you also have like small publishers, big publishers in Korea. You have Korea also has like probably the most polished games, like out of all the countries in Asia. So you like Plates Games is kind of like Oink, where they have this really bright, colorful, but in a small box. But everything's really high, really nice production. Bad Comet does a lot of crowdfunding games, but they come up with these big boxes, like almost like American style games. Like and they're really heavy games, like games that might take like a couple hours to play, and they have like really nice components. Like my favorite game of theirs, Wondrous Creatures, has magnets in it. Your little wooden meeple connects to their dinosaur that they ride via magnet, which is just just fun, right? You also have like Singapore, which specializes in really, really tiny games, really clever artwork, but they make a lot of units. Like your average Taiwanese publisher, they might have like 500 print run, like kind of small. But like your Korean publishers will do something like 15, 10,000 and just sell. Like if there's a grocery store, they'll sell to the grocery store. If there's a shopping mall, they'll sell to the shopping mall. They're just real big go-getters. China and Thailand and a lot of Asia are just really into like party games. And I mean like there are just so many party games that come out. And I think it's because the idea of, especially like in China and Thailand, like the idea of just the three of us, it's just me, Christina, and Shu, and hey, maybe my wife can come, just 4 people going out, doesn't happen often. It's more like, why just 4? Why not 8? Why not 10? Like just invite, and it's a big group of people that go out.
Okay.
So when a big people go out, they want a game that plays a lot of players, which is why Avalon sold extremely well for many, many years in Asia and has caused so many social deduction games to come out of Asia.
Okay.
And like board game cafes can be quite loud because they'll be they're just like party games. They're just like people are just like talking and
yelling
yeah. Thailand is interesting because of all the gamers I've gamed with, like Korea, Japan, China, Singapore, Malaysia. Thai gamers make everything a party game. Like we could be playing a Lacerda game, which is like a very heavy, it's like a worker placement game, and they'll be cracking jokes all the time, and you'd just be laughing. You'd feel like a party game. It's nuts. It's wild. They might throw in an extra rule just to make it more fun. They'd be like, no, do it like this. Stand up, and then roll the dice one at a time. Don't do it all 5 at once. Roll it one at a time. It'll be fun. And it's just a lot of fun. There's a lot of energy from them, which is quite wild. Like Indonesia is still very up and coming, where there's kind of smaller games, not as deep mechanically, but it's definitely growing. India is really fascinating because their games, they do, some of them do manufacturing in India, and you can kind of tell the quality. It's not as up to par as like games like from the West, but like their games are pretty heavy, and they're really developed. Like they spend a lot of time, maybe like a year or two, developing these games, and you can feel it when you play them. It's like, oh, they put a lot of thought into the mechanics of this game and getting the math just right. And it's still a very nascent market. So if they're making heavy games at this level this early, it's going to be really exciting to see 5-10 years down the road what they're coming up with.
That's interesting.
And I think that's me running through that as quick as I can.
That's a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like a lot of stuff I haven't heard of. I want to save some time for our topic, which was what, Shu?
So yeah, like I said at the beginning of the show, we've been playing a lot of games that work well for a slightly larger group. Like a lot of times when we're organizing our game days,
6-ish, right?
Yeah, we're like, okay, I don't want a 5th person because that bloats the game too much. There's too many people. 6 people kind of like, I'm like, it's almost better if we do 2 tables of 3 versus 1 table of 6. But we found a few recently, so let's get into it. So. The first one that we played very recently is a new game called 13th Street Crew. This is from, it's either Crimenia or Crimenia Games. And it's a social deduction game. It's about, hey, you're a bunch of low-level mafia members, and then you're trying to go on do different jobs. You will team up with different people. You'll negotiate to say, hey, you and I will do this job, small job together, or the 3 of us, let's do this big job together in order to make money. And then you ultimately, all the loyal people to the mafia, they want to hit $15,000, then they win the game. But there may or may not be a secret informant, like a traitor that you see in a lot of hidden role games, hidden in this game. And then they're trying to win by themselves or call enough police to bust up all the action. So I think individually there's like when you go on the jobs, like one job might say, we need all the resources in this game are like, your political influence,
weapons, whatever, typical mob stuff.
Yeah. Weapons, different assets that you need. Sure. So they're just different colors. And then people at the table will have these resources in secret. And then it's sort of like this other game, this deck building game called Moonrakers, where you're like, I can't finish this mission by myself, but I need the help of other people. But then you don't know whom you could trust in this game. And it has a little bit of Battlestar Galactica, the kind of classic board game, where that also has a traitor, the Cylon, in the game, where everyone in secret is contributing something to a common pool. So in this game, this is like whether you call the police or not. So most people are going to be no police. But if you see a police card in there, you also draw one randomly from the deck. You shuffle these together. So you see a police card, you're like, did someone in this group who went on this job call the police and they're the informant, or did this come from this random deck? We don't know. So it's kind of some confusion in there. So there's elements of a bunch of different other games in here. Like I mentioned, Moonrakers, Battlestar Galactica, a little bit like the werewolf games, like One Night Werewolf and such. But it's just very polished. It's like they did a good job putting these things together. We played up to 7
players for this too. We played like 4, and our friend lied to us the whole time. So everyone thought hurtful, very hurtful.
Everyone thought I was the informant, and the way it kept playing out, I got to the point where I'm like, I can't blame you all for thinking I'm the informant because everything looks bad for me. But I figured it out by the end
that he was not the informant, but it served my purpose to have people think he was the informant for a little bit longer. But our other friend, I was not.
No, she wasn't either.
But our other friend was too nice, and she brought along our other friend. I was like, I don't think you can trust him. And then she didn't believe me, and then we lost because she brought the informant along.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a social deduction game. A little bit less about are you lying? Are you lying? There's actually gameplay at the table.
Yeah, you can deduce a little bit.
And it comes with these really nice, heavy poker chips.
I'm looking at the images as you're talking, and the components all look great. Like the artwork has this nice noir look to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a lot of black and white artwork, but it's all done very well for like a more independent game. So yeah, that's 13th Street Crew.
Didn't overstay its welcome for being able to play so many people. So it's good. What do you have a 6-ish player game that you love? You mentioned the Natsu Memo already, right? And then
So how Natsu Memo works is that you're just kids, so you have to do something that's very unfamiliar with a lot of American kids. Is that a lot of Asian kids will have summer homework, so they might have to do and this game does you have 100 pages that you have to do, or 25 pages you have to do. So if you don't do all your homework, you're going to lose a ton of points. So you plan your week every week, and since someone's going to draw a card, and it'll be a random card, it'll be like, oh, okay, well, who wants to come with me to go barbecue for 6 hours on Tuesday? 3, 2, 1, raise your hand. And then everyone who goes will then write down on their calendar, okay, we're going to go on this day. So for the rest of the week, when people hold up events and be like, hey, who wants to do this? They can't go on that day. And then what's really funny is that, if you go on certain days, you'll get points. But some events have these little hearts on them, as you can see here. And what's really funny is the 3 of us went. You get to give a heart to someone because your friendship bonded. So maybe I give a heart to Christina, and Shu gives a heart to Christina, and then at the end of the game, you reveal who gave who the most hearts, and then whoever gave me the most hearts would get points. So maybe I find out that Shu gave me the most hearts, and Christina's like, what? I've been giving you hearts the whole game. I thought we were getting close. And it sounds so ridiculous, but it does kind of hurt in this weird, silly childhood way. There's
how old is this game?
A few years ago.
Mentioned it before.
Okay, I think I played this actually at Dice Tower West. Yeah, a few
and
years
you might have, and it's just quite fun. And there's a day of the week where you are. What's really funny is that you do the weeks. Week 1, week 2, week 3. Or week 4, and you have this cute little calendar that you fill out. But as the weeks progress, the activities are worth more and more points. So maybe round 1, so a sleepover might be 5 points, whereas round 4, sleepover, it might not be a sleepover, it might be a trip to Tokyo, and that could be 25 points. You're like, whoa, I want to do that. But to balance that out, though, you also perform your homework better in weeks 4. So because you're procrastinating and you're just kind of get it done as quickly as you can. So you do your homework slowly in week 1, and then in week 4, and it becomes this nice balance of when do I put in time to do homework versus when do I just do not? And then sometimes you see people in week 3 and 4 is I haven't done any homework yet, and they're just trying to fill up all their time to do homework. It's quite fun, and
I think some of my students could use this game. So, just saying.
Oh yeah, it's fun, and you can bait people to be hey, who wants to go swimming with me and go to the beach? Ready? 3, 2, 1, and then I don't raise my hand, and then maybe Shu just raises his hand by himself, and then Shu just goes, by himself. And so they would get a nickname, and there are like lots of little nicknames that you can get in the game. And if you get too many nicknames, you score a lot of points. So you don't want someone to have too many nicknames because then they become cool, which is
too cool.
Weird.
Everybody's got a nickname for them.
But they're like, there's I don't know what it was about the production of it. Like one of the cool things was like the rule book comes. It looks like a homework book in Japan. So like in Japan and a lot of Asian countries still have like a book where they write characters in, like their practice book or their communication book. And so they're just constantly writing in it all the time. And that's what the rules of the game look like, which is kind of,
cute.
It's very thematic. It's very cute. The production that I got came with like its own little animal eraser. And I have two other friends that both got this version. And all three of us got a different animal.
Oh, wow. That's
like
cool.
he got a zebra, and then the other person got, I think, like a giraffe. And it was just really cute to see like, oh, you got that? And it's like I don't think a Western publisher would think of something like that, but it's just it's just
People
really, really cute, really, really fun.
Awesome.
And I really enjoy it. It plays up to 6.
Okay. We have also next the same game. Not the same game as yours, but it is called the same game.
It's literally called the same game. Yep.
And this is by Wolfgang Warsch, who's done, Wavelength and Quacks and all sorts of great games. Quacks of Quedlinburg. But this is another sort of party-ish game that he's put out, right?
Yeah.
Like a word association game. But dissociation.
I love word games.
Because this plays also up to 6 players, and it's sort of quirky in some ways. So why don't you explain the goal?
Yeah. So for each game, there's a certain number of categories that are going to be out. Like, for example, that aspects of things that can define that. So like weight, length, duration of use, frequency of use, volume, and things like this. And then everyone's going to draw a number in secret. And you might have the same number as somebody else. So if my number is 2, that means the second category is the one I want my team to avoid. So then you're going to draw a word card. Like, for example, I'm going to use the example in the back of the box, pizza cutter. And then if my trap movement is, my trap category is movement, I want to write something that is as close to movement as pizza cutter as possible, but very different in all the other categories. So it's a little bit weird. It's much simpler than I'm actually explaining, because we did talk about this afterwards. Christine and I were talking about this. Like, it's not immediately intuitive, because what you're trying to do, the clue you're giving is similar, and you want your teammates to guess different. So
you just want to play it right now? We can just play it right now.
Well, yeah, I'll just give the example. It's like, okay, if my word that I drew was pizza cutter and my trap category is movement, then the clue I'm going to give, unicycle, hoping that my team won't pick movement because both of them have this kind of rolling motion.
Basically.
But my team might say a pizza cutter and unicycle are very different in weight. So that's not the trap category. Let's pick that one.
It's sort of like all an elimination sort of game, like the code names part, where you like have this association, but you are trying to say like, this is the most closely associated, and I want you to pick everything that's not closely associated until you narrow it down. And the more you cut out, the more points your team scores.
Yeah,
wow,
and it's this really great tension that I don't feel in a lot of these kind of games, because there's 6 cups, little plastic cups covering the numbers, but one of them's a trap. So when my team's going, they're like, okay, pizza cutter to unicycle, very different in weight. That can't be the trap. Let's reveal that one. So they'll lift up the cup, and there's this moment of anticipation of like, you're looking to see, is it a safe number or is it a trap? And everyone's like, whoosh. Okay, what's the next one? Duration of use. That's very different between pizza cutter and unicycle. Let's pick that one. And then you reveal it. It's like, okay, that's safe. But then you get some that are like, it could be this, it could be that. And then you get kind of.
And then it's sort of like, how does Shu think about it?
But and at the table, you get this palpable energy of people like, oh, they're getting nervous for the reveal. And then it's like, oh, we got the trap, or like, oh, we're safe again. And we only have one more to go before we get full points. So that, and just that little bit that they added was so clever, because it makes every reveal
the delayed
really
reaction.
exciting.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That makes the whole game Super fun.
And it's really pretty design. It's like very colorful, but not childish looking, but very family friendly at the same time. And it's a bit more like, if you think of Codenames as like a classic word association game, this is maybe a tiny step up from there in terms of complexity, I would say.
Maybe, but it is faster though, which I love because sometimes codenames people get all like paralyzed and they take forever.
And there's a lot of discussion because it's almost immediately because everyone's writing down their word at the same time. Then there's like, okay, you go, then I go, but everyone's talking through the whole thing, right? You're just like, oh, like pizza cutter and unicycle, they're very different in length too. So let's pick that one, but they're very similar in movement. So let's not pick that one because that might be the trap. So really cool game. I've played this a few times now and it's been a hit with everyone we've played it with. And that's the same game.
Cool. Yeah. The artwork looks fantastic. It has like the nice, fun adventure time. Very bright.
Yes,
approachable
that's what
look.
it is. Yeah. Because I couldn't quite put my finger on it either, but it is like fun, but not overly cartoony and jokey, So it's like still stylish. But yeah, enjoyed that.
Yeah, I would love to play this. This looks great.
Yeah. All right, next con. And do you have another quick game for us too?
Yeah, I guess the other game that I've been playing is that usually when I go out and people in my circle ask me to bring Zombie Princess, which is the sequel to Rebel Princess. So Rebel Princess is the Bezier game where it's kind of like the classic card game of hearts with a different theme. And this is Zombie Princess, which is closer to spades. So you want to win tricks in this game. Okay. And you can play up to 6 players, and it's a team game, so it can be 2v2v2.
Oh, I love team games.
Yeah, and that's what makes it really fun. And playing spades with 6 people is so much fun. Like with 3 teams working against each other is just a lot of fun. And so the theme is that the princes are the spades, and there's Trump. And the princes are zombies. The knights is a suit. They're zombies. Villagers, they're a zombie. And so all the princesses are armed with weapons to kind of go after all the zombies because there's no one else left to do, and the princess has got to do what she's got to do. And it just, I don't know, the art is kind of quirky and fun. Like,
very Rebel, similar art to the Rebel Princess.
Yeah, right? same artist, Alfredo Caceres. But I think this is probably my favorite day in the office of my job and the entire time I've worked at Bezier Games, where we had a pitch meeting where we all pitched to each other what the princess's ability is going to be called, and then what her weapon is going to be. And that was just a lot of fun. Like Cinderella obviously has like pumpkin grenades that she throws, like Red Riding Hood will be a support character, and she'll like lift up her red hood, and then you see like all the weapons that she has for sale. Like Thumbelina is on a tomato pin cushion with like a needle sword and like a button shield.
Oh, that's cute.
Super cute.
Goldilocks.
But there's no, other than the artist and the name and the theme, there's no gameplay connection to Rebel Princess, right? This is a distinct, separate game.
It's a very different game. So Rebel Princess is the hearts, as Zombie Princess is the spades. It's used at high school SAT connection.
Yeah.
Is it out now?
No, it'll be it'll be launching on Kickstarter Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Excited. I loved that, because like I've played Hearts when I was a kid, but then the Rebel Princess, like extra layers, the extra fun design and the events that happen and your powers just really made that more of a game. So I'm excited. And then we have a ridiculous game.
Yeah, so the last one we're going to talk about this one. You played this Banana Boy versus uni-cone. So this is I guess I would categorize these as like this sort of new wave of like memory-based games. But when I say that, it immediately scares a lot of people up because they're like, oh, I don't have a good memory. But I'm like, that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun.
It's a laugh, right? It's totally fun.
Yeah. Like, so there's games like Nana, which is kind of like a Go Fish sort of meets concentration memory game, or That's Not a Hat, which is a pure, ridiculous, stupid, keep track of all these cards that are face down, moving around the table.
I love that game.
They're
I love
funny.
It so much.
Yeah. They're only fun because people have
Horrible memories.
Bad memory. Like no one has perfect memory, right?
It'd be so boring if I play with somebody with
if everyone has photographic memory, it would not work. So anyways, in this game, there's a bunch of double-sided cards. They all have one background, so almost like it's suit. So that like there's green over here, or there's pink over here, and then there's blue over here, yellow over here. And they have different patterns, so even if you're colorblind, it shouldn't be a problem. So different backgrounds, but the front of it is also an object of some sort. So right now I'm looking at, there's a sock, there's a rocket, there's a marker, there's a hot dog, there's an eggplant, there's duck's feet. So, and then everything's double-sided. So, like one card here, the front is a unicorn with a yellow background. On the back is a hot dog with a blue background. So as you play, you taught the game, so you should explain it.
It's pretty simple. On your turn, you're going to pick 2 cards, and then you will state what you see on them, and then you have to flip them. So even though you see one side, you will be trying to score based off of the other side. So maybe at first I'm saying banana and boy, because I see that. When I flip them, it might turn into, a rocket and a sock or something like that, right? So if they match in color, at least I get to keep 1 card as a point. But if I match the 2 pictures exactly and I got, a unicorn and a unicorn, I get to keep both of those cards. So the more you remember about the other side of the cards, the better, but it's highly confusing because all of the same pictures are everywhere and you're like, oh no, I forgot what was on the other side of this ice cream cone. I have no idea.
And people say that. Yeah. People say out loud what's on the other side because it'll be flipped over. Right?
Yes. Yeah. So you're like, yeah, I've heard this, but where was that?
And it becomes super funny because intuitively, most people would like, when you flip a card over, you're not thinking about the back anymore. So for me, at least, every time I played, I was like, I will flip 2 cards over because I want to see what's on the other side. I instantly forget what I just had on the other side. So I have to remember before they get flipped over, what is that thing? Because now you have a face down hot dog somewhere and then you know where the other one is. And then you want to flip those at the same time. So it's just like the classic memory game where you're flipping 2 cards at a time and trying to find a match. But
there's stuff on both sides. Basically.
With it being a double-sided, that just changes everything and makes it so silly and so fun. And if people get mad,
the pictures are ridiculous.
Yeah. The pictures are
do you have a favorite combination? This is like one of my favorite questions to ask. Do you have a favorite combination of things? The boy hot dog combination terrifies me because the hot dog kind of has the same color flesh as the boy, and it's just weird. It really creeps me out. I love it.
Yeah, because a lot of these pictures they look like a half a picture of something. Yeah.
So we actually didn't put them on top of each other, but maybe we should have.
Yeah, that's why the game's called Banana Boy versus Uni-cone, because if you look at the cover, it's a little boy at the upper half, a banana for his lower torso, and a unicorn's upper half on top of an ice cream cone. But yeah, the pictures are just there just to have something there. There's not really much of a theme otherwise, but it's just a really funny, crazy, somewhat difficult, but again, that's where the fun lies. Memory game. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Love that.
No, it's fun. I really, really love that game.
All right. So thanks so much for joining us. I think we were out of time because we had a lot to talk about, but I want to thank you for joining us, Jay. And where can people follow you and all of the games from Asia you're playing and what Bezier Games is doing? Where do they follow you?
You can find me pretty much anywhere at Bezier Games or at Cardboard East. Because I also run the socials for Bezier Games. So if you
are Bezier Games, got it.
Yeah, I run like multiple social media accounts. It's quite taxing. I'm always on my phone all the time, and sometimes I lie to my wife and say, "No, it's for work." But yeah, you can find me anywhere. For Cardboard East, most of my new content comes on YouTube, and I'll have a new video coming out on Tuesday. Tomorrow, we'll be talking about some new trick takers that are coming to Kickstarter.
And exciting.
Well, this will be 3 Tuesdays ago by the time this episode comes out. There
it is. So this will come out around Gen Con. So if you hear this and
oh my god,
and this comes out of that Gen Con, then you got to stop by the Bezier Games booth 137. We are demoing the Game Makers, which is you making real world board games. We have over 300 board games from over 100 real publishers. That took like close to 2,000 emails, all from one licensing manager. She's very overworked and very tired. But she definitely come and check it out because it's going to be one of the big things from Gen Con this year.
Yeah, who's the designer? I remember reading about it, but I can't
Ben
remember.
Rossitz, who's now the wheel guy because he has Fromage and Structure Planet X, and now the game makers all with wheels.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's been on our podcast before, so you kind of gave us a hint about this a few weeks ago when we ran into you at a game party. So we're quite excited to check this out at Gen Con.
Right on Wheelhouse. And of course, many thanks to our awesome editor, Mike Zipkin. And now we can stop listening and everybody can go play a game. Bye.
Bye.